Welcome to Panikar Vlogs. My name is Rupesh Panikar. I am based in Ireland and this is my first episode of my channel. I'll be making loads of videos which will give information about Ireland, its lifestyle, food, traveling, and in particular lots of information that will be very helpful to migrants. Hope you will like my videos. If you like, please share and support. Today's topic is about renting. It can be renting a house, villa or an apartment, and it's one of the most important things for a migrant who comes from outside Ireland, maybe to work here or to come as a student. Let's start with how and where to find a house. I'll share the link of that website. It's called daft.ie. That's one of the biggest websites here in Ireland, which has houses on rent as well as houses on sale. A lot of commercial buying and selling is also there. So that's the website you should look for, and it's a free website to use. If you are not in Ireland, unfortunately it's very difficult. You can find houses on this website, but if you contact the agent or the landlord, they prefer to see you directly, talk to you, and then only they offer you the houses. Let's assume you found a house. Now the next thing is you should go there, view the house, keep a note of the advertise, what all they have advertised, and check whatever the things that they have mentioned, it's there in the house or not. If not, make sure you clarify with the agent or the landlord. Most important part of this process is your contract or the agreement. Before signing it, read it carefully. What are the things mentioned in that? And you should keep note of few things. What is the rent? Is the rent same mentioned in the contract what was mentioned to you in the advertise? How much deposit you are supposed to pay? Don't pay more than a month's deposit. That's a normal norm in Ireland. How many years that agreement is valid for? What are the terms and conditions if you breach the agreement or if you break the agreement in between, if you leave that house early? There will be additional sheet attached to the contract which will describe what are the equipments or furnitures given to you when you rent in the house. All these things you should very carefully check it. Apart from that, about if you are in an apartment, there is a maintenance fee which is applicable to all the apartments, because that includes a bin and other services. So most of the house owners or the landlords, they include this, but nowadays some people smartly what they do is they add this as an additional note on that. So keep a note of that and clarify that. Then your parking, if you have a parking in the apartment mentioned, check it. Is that a designated car park? Where is the car park? How many keys they are handing over to you for the house? Is there a fob? It is basically for the car park, and after checking all these things, when you sign it, make sure you put a date and check when the contract is starting. At the same time, the other party, it can be landlord or the agent acting on behalf of the landlord, should also sign it, and you should get a copy of the contract. Never deal in cash, whether it's deposit or rent. Always use bank transfers or check, because that's the proof that you have given deposit or you have paid rent. Never in cash. Now you have signed the contract, you got the keys for the house, and you moved into the house. First thing you should do is take your contract back again, take the additional list which I mentioned you, check whether all those equipments are there or not, whether it's working or not. Take pictures of houses, of all the nook and corners, and keep it in your mail as a proof. And if there is anything damaged or broken or anything, immediately inform the agent or the landlord. And make sure you do this in black and white. That is through a mail, not through the phone. Because if you keep your correspondence in mail, this helps if there is a dispute at the end of the tenancy. Next is your utilities in the house. That is your electricity, gas, and your internet services. You should take meter reading, pictures of the meter reading of your gas, electricity, and mail it across to the agent or the landlord, and keep a note for yourself also in black and white. And it is entirely up to you which service provider you want to go ahead with. The agent will say, oh, there's only one service here. No, look for it. Most of the companies, they provide gas as well as electricity together. If you take from one company both, you will get a cheaper rate. And for the internet, there are loads of companies, but I would suggest you Virgin Media. If you live in city surroundings, that's one of the fastest and the best internet. Who is responsible for the upkeep and maintenance of the property? Of course, upkeep is on the tenant who lives there, and the maintenance of the property is entirely on the house owner or the agent acting on his behalf. Like if your Hoover is broken, your fridge is broken, they are supposed to repair it and fix it for you or replace it. And make sure whenever there is a damage to any of the equipments, like if it is not working or anything that has happened, inform them by mail and keep a copy of that. Please do not do any kind of alteration in the house, like putting up nails or putting up extra equipments on the wall or anywhere without the permission in black and white from the house owner. Because when you leave and if you try to take off those stuff and if you damage the wall, it will be solely your responsibility to get it fixed, and it could end up expensive also. So be careful about that, and mind the kids that they don't destroy the wall with paintings or writing something on that. If that happens, you would be liable to repaint that entire area. Can we sublet a house? That totally depends on your agreement. What is written on the agreement? Most of the agreement will have no, you can't sublet your properties. Not everybody wants to sublet or give one of your rooms out to a third person and give you extra freedom out. It's just because the rent is so high, particularly in cities like Dublin, Cork and Limerick. People tend to give out one of their extra rooms to a single person whom they know, or maybe students or somebody. But if it is not mentioned in the contract and if you give out on sublet, you're already breaching the agreement. And if the house owner or the agent comes to know about it, they can serve you notice and they can move you out of the house. That's legally, they have the right to do that. Now, this is where the end game starts. Means you're about to end your tenancy. It can be a fixed term contract. In either case, when you're about to finish that term, the onus is on both the agent, landlord, or the tenant to inform each other if you're extending your tenancy or if you're finishing your tenancy there. To refer this, there is a organization here called Residential Tenancy Board. They are the one who controls the laws regarding tenancy, and according to them they have very clearly specified that how many number of days of notice you have to give, either by the landlord to the tenant or by the tenant to the landlord. I will share that link in the description. Please read through it, and that's the legal notice period. Don't follow whatever someone else says or your agent says no, you have to give 2 or 3 months of notice. That's not the law. Before you hand over the keys back to the agent or the landlord, make sure you clean the house yourself or you get the help of a professional cleaning company. You have to give the house back the way they gave it to you, and if there is any damages, report to them. Take pictures of every room, bathroom, kitchen, everything, and put it on mail in black and white. And after a day or two, always remember to follow up with your agent or landlord. Is everything okay or not? They have to mention it to you that time if anything is broken or not. Not after 2 weeks or 3 weeks they are coming that this is missing, that is missing. So keep it as your responsibility to follow it up to avoid future disputes. What happens if I break a contract? If it's a fixed term contract, you are not supposed to leave half the way. You're supposed to complete that tenancy period. But there are certain exceptional circumstances in which you can break the contract. Those conditions are very clearly specified in the RTB website. I'll give you a few examples of that, like if there is a leakage at the house and it's not fixed, there is 2 or 3 equipments which are broken in the house and it's not been fixed for a long time. There is your windows broken, it's not been fixed. Your heating is broken down, it's not been fixed. All this maintenance is supposed to be done by the house owner, and if they are not fixing it, you give them notice in black and white. Give them some time and they are supposed to fix it as soon as possible. So if they don't do, they are breaching their obligation towards the tenant, and in this case you can even break a fixed term lease and you are supposed to get your full deposit back. Another example is you took a house on a lease for a year. You were working in Dublin and all of a sudden after 2 months you get a good job in Limerick. Obviously you have no other choice. You have to leave this house and go to Limerick, but you still have somewhere around 7 to 8 months of your lease agreement left. In this condition, what you do is you talk to the house owner. You talk means you send them a mail that this is my situation and I would like to leave this house. And if the house owner says no, you are still left with your tenancy and I will lose money, in that case what you can offer, and you should offer them, that alright, no problem, I will find somebody else as a replacement for my house and they will complete this rest of the tenancy. And if the house owner refuses to do that, then the ball is in your court. You can serve them notice, proper notice, and leave the house, and they are obliged to give your full deposit back. Disputes. This is where the problem starts. If you have a dispute with your house owner regarding anything broken in the house or regarding deposit refund, you should try your level best to sort it out mutually. But in case if you feel that you are right and the house owner is wrong, then I would highly recommend you to approach the residential tenancy board for a resolution. And there is not a big rocket science. If you have all the documents from the start till the end of your tenancy, you have to just submit all those documents to the board, and they will, after going through the documents, first thing what they do is they try to resolve it mutually through a negotiation, and this is absolutely free. So they will contact both the parties through phone and try to resolve it. And if it is not resolved in that way, then what they will advise you is you can go ahead and lodge a formal complaint. And to lodge a formal complaint also, it's not that expensive. If you do it online, it's 15 euros, and if you do it through post, it's 25 euros. Again, submit all the documents. This is where the black and white thing starts working. If you have documentation proof, that's what they are going to look at. So when it goes to RTB for the second phase, they will take documents from your side, they'll take documents from the other party also, and they'll share you both the information what they have, and then they'll call both the parties for a negotiation. It's called adjudication, and they will listen to both the parties and then they will give their decision. Not immediately, it takes 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes more, depends on how busy they are. Once you get that decision, if you are not happy and if the other party is not happy, still you have another place to appeal. It's within the RTB, it's called tribunal. The first instance, there's only one person, one judge who takes and makes the decision. But when it goes to tribunal, it's 3 judges, they sit there and they take the decision. In this tribunal also, all the documents whatever you have submitted, you have to resubmit it, and the same process. And again, they will listen to both the parties and give their final decision. And this final decision is binding. It's like a court decision. And if still somebody is not happy, they can go to a district court, but it's very expensive. Usually nobody goes. So friends, I hope this episode was very informative. I've presented up to best of my abilities. This was my first video, so please like, share and support. Particularly, please share this information to as many colleagues as possible, because many of us who come to this country as a migrant, we don't know what are the rules and regulations. This is not in depth, but at least it will give you a basic idea how to deal with your landlords or agents. Signing off.